Hey, it's Adam here, and you're watching The Culture Hack, where we're talking about how to create engaged workspaces that unlock the potential of your teams and drive your business forward in ways you've never seen. So stay tuned. Hello, and welcome to The Culture Hack. Today is super exciting. I have my friend Jeff Griffiths on with me today. He is the co-founder of Workforce Strategies International. Thanks for coming on the show, Jeff. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's good to catch up.
Yeah, we actually did one of these features years and years ago.
I think so.
Like a blast from the past, right?
Indeed. Yeah, it's been a while.
Right. So first, tell us a little bit about Workforce Strategies International.
We are a management consulting company based out of Calgary. Focus is on competency-based workforce and organizational development. So we help organizations build their teams from the bottom up, based on figuring out what people need to do, figuring out how best to get them there, and helping the leaders in the organization grow and mentor their people to be the best that they can be.
Okay, that sounds pretty great. Who wouldn't want that, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we see and have seen for years now where organizations are struggling to find the talent that they need. And what we've found from looking at some, with some of our clients is that in many cases, the talent is actually inside their four walls. It's just stuck in a box somewhere and no one knows about it. And so creating this is the culture hack, right? So creating that culture where people are allowed out of their box and to show you what they are actually capable of and letting them stretch and grow. It's actually beneficial for the individual, but it's really beneficial for the companies, particularly when we're struggling to find talent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. I mean, we always talk about engagement. So does that encapsulate the term engagement to you?
Yeah, and the Gallup just put out their latest engagement surveys, and one of the things going back years in North America in terms of what drives engagement is managers and leaders who are actually invested in their people and trying to grow them and providing that guidance and mentoring creates a high level of engagement with employees, and they stay with companies that look after them.
Okay. So you've got some stories. I know you've got your stories have stories, but do you have some where, this idea of competencies and really, kind of promoting people's strengths has helped your client or things that you've seen along the way?
Yeah, I mean, we've been working with one company almost kind of since the beginning of the year, I guess, where they've experienced some pretty significant growth in a relatively short period of time, and trying to find the right mix of leaders in frontline positions has been a challenge. But working with their frontline supervisors, working with more senior management, I think has allowed them to find those gems within the organization that they can promote and then provide the support and guidance to. And we've seen them, it's pretty significant improvement over a relatively short period of time now in terms of the number of problems that have to be dealt with at higher levels in the organization because they're being handled where they need to be handled now. We've seen one person promoted from the ranks, as it were, into a new role and is thriving in that role, and then overall operational results in that department are improving as well. So, and none of this was particularly difficult. It's just hard to see the label when you're living inside the jar. So being, coming into an organization, blind and stupid as we do, it's easier for us sometimes to see these things and help guide them in that direction. And and in the end, it's all about increasing the organizational performance and keeping the good people that they have.
I like that. It's almost like you're giving permission for people to kind of, like you said, step out of their box, right? Corporations are so good at putting people in boxes.
Yeah.
But, letting people out, let them kind of figure stuff out, right?
Yeah, and an organization that runs like a machine. That's the old organizational paradigm, right? It's a machine, cogs in the wheel, and everything else, which is fine until the organization runs into change, because machines, so far at least, they don't do real well at change. My car will never be a tractor. So creating an organization where people are a little more outside the box, where people are constantly learning and growing, I think makes the organization a lot more resilient to change, a lot more adaptable, a lot more able to take advantage of new situations, new things that come up. And at a certain scale, there's only so many things you can keep track of as a manager or as an owner. So beyond a certain size, the organization has to start thinking and growing on its own. And that's a scary shift for a lot of owners. But I think it's necessary, and I think it takes into account the kind of dynamic and evolving nature of organizations. They're not static the way they used to be. They can't be, because standing still is going to kill you. So we see where organizations are embracing that and giving people, the leash to step outside their boxes, to start thinking a little outside the box. You'll see more innovation. You'll see more engagement. You'll see more mistakes, right? And that's part of growth. Ideally, the mistakes are managed in a way, and the environment is managed in a way that people are allowed to make mistakes, because that's how you learn, but they're allowed to make mistakes that aren't fatal to the organization. But ultimately, that creates a willingness to change, a comfort level with being a little bit uncomfortable. And that's where all the innovation comes from in organizations. It's never hardly ever comes from the top down. Most innovation comes from either outside or from the fringes within an organization.
Interesting. Okay. So if there's one sort of gem you want to leave the audience with, what would it be?
I guess the thing for me in terms of organizational culture, like I come from the military, which has a reputation for being very top-down, very structured. And it is up to a point. But one of the lessons that I learned was that everybody has at every level in an organization, you have a vision, right? A time horizon into the future where you should be looking. And at every level in the organization, if you're looking to the point down the road where you need to be looking, that forces you to let the people in the layers underneath you do what they're being paid to do, and think and act and work to the limits of where their line of sight needs to be. And so at the very basic level in an organization, like that might be a day in the future, or to the end, in some cases, to the next coffee break. The further up you go, the further out that needs to be. But by forcing yourself as a leader to look where you need to look and to keep your head down the road, you create the ability in your organization, that culture of learning, making decisions, and growing at the appropriate level, which makes the whole organization move faster, learn faster, and take advantage of opportunities faster, which ultimately is good for everybody. It's scary as hell for managers to let go and give that authority, responsibility, and accountability. But it's absolutely critical if you want to grow beyond a mom and pop operation. So I guess that's my gem is, figure out where your time horizon needs to be, and then focus on that. And by focusing on that, that forces you to develop the layer beneath you to deal with their time horizons.
I like that, right? And if it feels scary, we're probably on the right track.
You're probably, yeah. You know, they always say, right? You know, you're on the right path because it's uphill in both directions.
Yeah. I love that. All right. Thank you very much, Jeff. I always appreciate your wisdom, and thanks for your time.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching The Culture Hack. Do you want to chat culture and engagement? Give us a call and come on the show.